Following the disastrous debate against Vice President Kamala Harris, shares of Trump's social media platform cratered to a new low.
Oh no!
As if you didn't think it could go lower. Well now, that's bad. So this continues the long slide this stock has gone through since its high of $79.38 a share. That was less than 6 months ago, and now it's down to about 15. That's a decline of nearly 75%. Disastrous. So now Donald Trump happens to own a majority of the shares, about 59%, roughly 60. So basically, every time this happens, he literally watches millions of dollars he could have had basically disappear. It's like lighting it on fire, which if you're an investor in True Social, most likely you've already seen that happen to yourself. Like, oh, you might as well just, light all your money on fire. and because if you're giving it to him, it's the same thing. Okay, it's going to go to his legal fees. All right. In fact, that's what's happening to a lot of the money that he's raising for his political campaign. It's not going to down ballot candidates. No. It's going to his legal fees. So now, as of this morning, that stock went down nearly 17%. That's not a dip. That's not just a little bump in the road there. No, it's a crash. It is a crash. Crater. Gone. A lot like the money.
Bing, 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 boom.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Okay. So now, this is unlike the rest of the stock market, which is actually doing pretty good. Not that it matters to me. I don't own any stocks, right? And I think it's, saying that the stock market is a reflection of how America is doing is, I would say, inaccurate. The stock market doesn't really reflect average, everyday Americans and how we're doing, which is why, I always think it's funny when politicians are saying, well, the stock market's doing great. It means America's doing great, right? No, it doesn't. It just means very, very, a very few small amount of rich people are doing great, but it doesn't reflect anyone else. And that, by the way, that also, is related to True Social's so-called market value. It's very, very overvalued and not reflective of the realities of the company. Okay. So that said, if you do have, stocks, I guess then you're doing good too. Good for you, I guess, right? Now, Trump said that if Biden was elected, the stock market would crash. Did that happen? No. The only crash seems to be on things related to Donald Trump, because everything Trump touches falls apart. He's got the reverse Midas touch, right? Everything he touches turns to crap.
Big, massive dumps.
That's pretty much all that's left. So now, speaking of dumps, True Social is a disaster, and right now, Donald Trump, he has until the 20th to wait before he can dump his share of the stocks. Now, according to SEC filings, the company lost a staggering $58 million in 2023 before even going public, and now it's losing even more. They've continued to post huge losses, not only in stock value, but of course in the company itself. That's why it had to merge with that SPAC corporation, which is a blank check company, when it went public. They lost $16.4 million last quarter, and they had under $1 million in revenue. So now I'm not a mathematician, but that seems bad. $16.4 million in losses and only less than $1 million in revenue, which that means you have roughly 15.3, I guess, or whatever million in losses. So that's not good. No business can operate like this for long. Okay, and again, the reason that it's losing the value and the reason that it has value in the first place is actually the same reason, because it's Donald Trump. Okay, so people bought into it because of the name. Oh, Donald Trump. I heard that he builds things and stuff. and he might be, and he was president once, and he might be again. So this must be a safe bet. Except, no, if you look at Trump's track record, he has had a lot of businesses fail, go bankrupt. And this one will just be the newest in the long line of Trump businesses, Trump water, Trump air, Trump steaks. I mean, you name it, right? So now Matthew Tuttle, CEO of Tuttle Capital Management, had told CNN, quote, if this wasn't Trump, this thing would be trading at $1. Now, why is that? It's because it's a social media company that is incredibly niche. First of all, it takes a lot of investment and a lot of time for a social media company to even show positive returns. So that's just the media environment. So anybody who thinks that they can go and start like the next Facebook, it's actually really hard. And the reason that we had Facebook and we had a Twitter is that they didn't exist before. Okay, and they got started, and they started making money. Advertisers were interested in that, in mainly our data, because when it comes to social media, we are the product. We are being sold to advertisers, our data, so that advertisers can serve us ads. You know how it works. So, Facebook and all that, that's how they started making money. And that's how they keep making money. And so that's why True Social is not going to make money, because it's so niche that hardly anybody is going there. I mean, only like the most ardent Trump fans have shown up on True Social, and they can't really get a lot of reputable advertisers there because they have the same issue that Twitter has, or X now, and that advertisers don't really want their ads next to pro-Nazi content. And so there's that issue, why they're not taking in a lot of money. And then, of course, they're also spending money trying to set up this, live TV, I guess, on True Social, which is also going to be an expensive boondoggle disaster. And then they have the CEO, Devin Nunes, who is, also running this thing into the ground, which is essentially a pump and dump to begin with. Okay, it's a disaster. In fact, here's what Tuttle said. This stock is entirely a Trump gets elected play. If Trump wins, this could be a viable company, meaning that, the stock values would have some equilibrium here, and people would buy into it, and people would have to have some trust in it because, it's related to the president of the United States now. But if he loses, he says, I don't know how this is a going concern. It's going to fail. And by the way, this is why people are using True Social, the stock price, as less of a gauge of it being a viable company that will last in the long term, and instead using it as a gauge to see whether or not they think Trump will win. So if Trump gets a very positive poll that comes out, or starts trending up in the polls and having a big lead over his opponent, like for example with Biden, then the stock will rally. But if he has a disastrous debate, like he did on Tuesday, then the stock will tank. And so that's what it's basically turned into, a thermometer of whether or not people believe that Donald Trump will end up getting elected. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.